Well, the Florida Gators lost again. Lane Kiffin might be our next head coach, but as always, Saturdays in Gator Nation are for feeling.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, part of the #1 sports podcast network. Just want to throw that one out there. We'll talk about Lane. I was gonna say, can we talk about the game and then Lane Kiffin? We'll talk about Lane. I'm sure we'll do it multiple times. But look, as far as like Joshua is saying, I just don't see Lane leaving Ole Miss for us. We're a mess. As far as drunk going, Lane ain't going to Florida. Dumpster fire. Here before they hire Alex Golesh. Hotty toddy. Lane Kiffin is not the answer. Okay, here's the thing, because I've seen like the Twitter timeline. I've seen so many people on Florida Twitter just go, I don't want Lane Kiffin because he folded this game. He should have won by so much more. He kept giving Florida these opportunities. He kept doing this. He kept doing that. Let me put this as plain and simple as I possibly can for you. If you wanted Lane Kiffin before this game, you should still want Lane Kiffin, because what you saw, or you were talking about wanting Lane Kiffin without knowing who Lane Kiffin is. Because this game was a Lane Kiffin game. Like, that was Lane Kiffin to a T. The over-aggressive on fourth down, leaving points on the board. I guess we'll say that the constant up tempo, even when you probably should have been chewing clock a little bit earlier. The very frustrating moments that you'll see from a coach that will frustrate you. Yeah, those are all things Lane Kiffin has done, has always done, and will continue to do. So if this game changed your thoughts on Lane Kiffin, you were probably talking about Lane Kiffin without knowing who Lane Kiffin is. Like, this was Lane. This was Lane. Watch Ole Miss. That's what they do. They go for it a ton on fourth down. They go for it excessively, maybe. What's up? Christopher Johnson said, yo, what's up, Brandon? Best in the biz. You're damn right. But yeah, I think that when you look at what this game was for Florida, what this game was for Ole Miss, this is exactly what Lane Kiffin does. Dana Harris, you don't know ball. So I subbed for your arrogant ass till tonight. You won't ever get Kiffin. Oh, kiss my arrogant ass. How about that one? Yeah, might get fined for that one, but we're okay. Look, Lane Kiffin, this is what Lane Kiffin does. This was a Lane Kiffin game. If you wanted Lane before tonight, this game should not have changed your opinion of Lane Kiffin. And if it did change your opinion, it's because you don't know Lane Kiffin. It's as simple as that. Like, or you were just looking at the stats and seeing how many points he was getting and all that. Like, that's it. That's it. Dave, but 3 times the integrity. I think that's what it is with this is that yeah, Lane, like this was Lane. This was Lane Kiffin to a T. He's going to go for it on fourth down. Even when analytics say don't go for it, he's going to go for it. Like, even when analytics tell you not to, he's going to go for it. I was explaining to someone the final fourth down call for Ole Miss, with the fourth and goal from whatever yard line, and everybody went, oh, kick the field goal. The reason that they went for it was because if you kick a field goal, you go up 6, okay? And if you go up 6, Florida's going to try to score a touchdown to win. Analytics will tell you, and I mean, you don't have to say analytics because I know people just hate that word. Facts will tell you that if teams are down 3, they're playing for 3. Okay? If teams are down 6, they're playing for 6, 7. 6, 7. If you kick the PAT. So that's why he went for it. I will say this. I would have still kicked it even if analytics might have told you to go for it. I don't know what their analytics tell them because also you have to recognize most teams have different analytics. What happened, Brandon? You guaranteed the Gators would win. By the way, the 80s called. The 80s did call. They miss your mom. Throw that one out there. But yeah, no, I said Florida was going to win this game the whole time. I don't care. I said, I know who the better team is, who the better coach is. Sometimes in football, the storyline matters more. It didn't tonight, but it almost did. But with this game, yeah, that was Lane Kiffin going for it there. That was the logic. Was if we go up 6, they're playing for a touchdown. If we stay up 3, they're going to play for a field goal. If we score a touchdown, it ends the game. That was the entire thought process there. Better coaches, I don't know about that. It was Lane Kiffin without a shadow of a doubt. There's just, I don't know. If you didn't know about Lane Kiffin, fine. If Billy Gonzalez isn't a little crybaby like Lane Kiffin, Lane is a baby. I don't know. I'm telling you guys, if either of you wanted Lane Kiffin before this game, and this game changed anything about your opinion of Lane Kiffin, all that tells you is that you didn't actually know Lane Kiffin. This was the Lane game. It's all like this was Lane Kiffin to an absolute T. If you didn't know that, that's on you. Maybe don't speak about things without knowing them. That's all I can tell you is that if you went into this game and something happened in this game and you went, hey, I didn't think that was going to happen, that's on you for not knowing what you're talking about. That's it. All it is. You just didn't know what you were talking about the whole time, however long you were talking about it. You just didn't know what you were talking about. Maybe learn things and then have opinions about them. Trying to throw that out there. But Florida loses the game 24-34. Lane Kiffin got his win. Billy Gonzalez still searching for his first win as a head coach, an interim head coach, of course. So yeah, it is what it is. Florida lost this game by 10. Cover the spread. Woohoo! Not that I actually care about that. Torian People said if Lane comes, this team will be the absolute same. No, they won't. This team will be a hell of a lot better if Lane Kiffin got here. Fact. This team will be a hell of a lot better if Lane Kiffin got here. Okay? I will say for the offense, there were some promising things, some really, really not. DJ Lagway had one of his better games. One of his better games. Brandon, you need to step it up to be a Locked On and serious. Good English, idiot. Promising things from the offense, right? DJ Lagway looked better than he's looked after a cold start, had a cold finish. But for most of the game, he was playing pretty decent football, right? Jaden Ball could not get going. Jaden Ball also, let's just call a spade, had a bad night. Simple as that. That was evident. I was sending out the message to the subtext program in the second quarter that Ball had run right into the back of blockers multiple times in the game. I don't know what it is, but yeah, will Lane announce tomorrow? Is Lane coming? You'll have to wait and see. 24 hours is not that long. Katie Daniels had one good carry. That was his only carry for some reason. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes just try things out. TJ Abrams had maybe the best game of his career. J. Michael Sturdivant had a long touchdown. Finally got to see that going. Defense gashed on the ground. Gashed. We spoke about this with the Insider program before. Florida probably should have been losing this game a lot earlier and probably should have been losing this game by more, Because if Ole Miss just committed to running the football, they would have blown Florida out completely. But they wanted to keep throwing the football, which, by the way, very Lane Kiffin. Like that is very Lane Kiffin to say, hey, I know that running the football would destroy this team. I'm just going to air it out, though. That's Lane. Last year, do you not remember the game with Florida and Ole Miss last year? We watched the defensive lineman run forward on 4th down and fail, 3 or 4 times? And he kept going back to it. Lane's stubborn as hell. Like, I don't know why people are confused about it. Do you want Lane or no? I absolutely want Lane Kiffin. Yeah, I want Lane. Sorry, I don't know if that wasn't clear. I still want Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is still my top candidate for coaching. I've known this about Lane Kiffin, and I've wanted Lane Kiffin as my head coach. It's as simple as that. Like, I know what Lane does. I know Lane's overly aggressive on 4th down. Like, I know that. I know that Lane is going to throw the ball more than he should when the run game's working. I know that. I know Lane's going to break out a trick play when he probably shouldn't. I'm cool with that because he's going to win football games at the University of Florida. Like that's Lane. Lane will do that in a bunch of games. If you wanted Lane before this game, you should still want Lane after this game because there was nothing Lane did in this game that was different than what Lane does. That's him. And again, if you didn't know that, that's that. Any comment on the refs? Sorry if you already talked about this. We'll talk about the refs and then we'll get a break and then we'll talk with the rest of the chat to wrap this up. But I don't know. Explain what, Dave? The refs were awful. Yeah, but I don't care about that. I really don't. I'm sorry. I know that the refs suck. My general thought is that the refs always suck. And that you should take the refs out of it. So, yeah, I think that, I'm never going to blame a loss on the refs. I'm never going to blame a game on the refs. If you are playing well enough to offset the refs, then do that. But I'll tell you what, the refs didn't give up 538 yards of offense. Refs didn't do that. Right? Refs didn't muster up 326 yards of offense compared to that 500 something. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't care what the refs did. The refs didn't do that. That's what matters to me. We will talk about this game still and what's to come for the Florida Gators when we get back with Locked On Gators. It is the weekend, and it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. And I'm going to give it to 2 this time, which is crazy because there have been quite a few games we haven't given it to anybody. I'm going to give it first to TJ Abrams because I think a lot of people have counted him out. I think that there were a lot of people who didn't want him in the class at all when he got here. And he just came and had pretty solid game, right? I mean, I know 3 catches for 76 yards isn't world breaking, but that's better production from a receiver than we've had in a long time, right? So I will give it to TJ Abrams for that. I will also give it to Jaden Woods for being that edge rusher that drops into coverage, getting a pick there. Yeah, I'll give it to TJ Abrams and Jaden Woods. DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You can save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday today. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Pay attention to this part. Promo period through November 18th. It's coming up. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you miss the start of the game or you want to just ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Made some money on SGA 3 threes tonight. Pretty good call. Just saying. Hornets allow a lot of threes above the break. 2 guards. SGA capitalize right now. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free with the podcast and on YouTube. First comment I saw coming out of this break is O'Hara's listening. Give him some plays to beat Tennessee. He listened about tight end screen. Did he listen about the tight end screen? I don't remember them. I don't remember them breaking out a tight end screen. So I will say that. Dave, I don't know what's up with you. I don't know. Yeah, I was going to make a joke that I decided was too far, so I'm not going to do it. Yeah, since none of us have any idea whatsoever whether or not Kiffin comes, can I just say I wouldn't hate whoever it is retaining Billy Gonzalez? I would. Like if they would keep Billy as a wide receiver coach, yeah, I still would. I've been very open that I want. So you don't want Lane? Yeah, I want Lane. I don't know why you're confused about that. But yeah, I mean, look, Florida lost this game. It sucked. It is what it is. Besides the first quarter, we looked pretty good considering interim head coach and lack of wide receivers. Look, that second half offense was awful. I don't care what anyone says. That second half offense sucked. Right? Kicked a field goal before the half. Didn't score in the second half. Your drives in the second half went 4 plays, 46 yards, 38 of which came on first down. That was when you started backed up against your own end zone. So there was that. Then you had 3 plays, 5 yards, and a punt. Then you had 11 plays, 45 yards, and a tip drill pick. 4 plays, 1 yard, turnover on downs. 4 plays, 6 yards, turnover on downs. Is what it is, right? Like the offense was awful in the second half. Defense didn't do a great job of getting off the field, right? Can you speak on Lane privately accepting this coaching job? No. Defense didn't do a great job in the second half at all. Ole Miss's drives went 15 plays, 73 yards, 7 minutes off the clock, turnover on downs. 4 plays, 8 yards, and a punt. 6 plays, 86 yards, and a touchdown. 14 plays, 65 yards, turnover on downs, 6.5 minutes off the clock. 1 play, 4 yards, touchdown. Then the end of the game. Has anyone ever seen a coach highlight and write so much during a game? Yeah, I mean, look, players write things. Brandon, if you make T. Samuel Robinson, I have responded to you twice on this. I don't know what the answer is, honestly. I don't know what the answer is with the YouTube algorithm. I know that interactions generally drive up the algorithm or drive you up the algorithm, but thumbs down, I think, drives you down. So I'm not sure if one weighs more than the other or if they just offset. I don't know. But you're free to do whatever you want. I'd prefer you comment to let me know why you disagree and we can have a discussion about it. But you could do both if you want. I don't care. I think the chant will make him not want to leave. His fan base might have touched his heart. I don't think so. Look, I've said this before. Like, this isn't an Ole Miss team that's going to win a national championship, right? He's I'm going to read that one out loud. T. Samuel Robinson said, I'm always high, so I ask the same questions. Sorry, I just wasn't expecting that kind of response. Yeah, I think a lot of coaches write things down. I would like to know what the play calling is like at Ole Miss, just because, Lane has the sheet. Lane talks a lot, but they've said that Charlie Weiss calls more plays before. So I don't know what it is. Yeah, look, this team, like our program's in trouble, all that. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that. But yeah, I mean, look, this isn't a well-coached team. All jokes aside, Lane looked uncomfortable during and after the game, especially when asked to interview after the game. Lane's fine, right? Like all this comes with the money. All this comes with the territory. The fact remains, like, Lane Kiffin is going to coach out at least the remainder of the regular season for Ole Miss. I'm not going to say anything definitive. You guys know I don't do that. I've told you everything I know. I said it on Friday. People I've spoken to feel more confident than I think ever before about Lane coming to Florida. Will that happen? I don't know. I've also always said, like, I don't like when people start feeling too confident because I feel like that's when everything backfires for Florida. So I don't know. I will still tell you that Lane Kiffin is still my top target, my top candidate for head coach. I understand the negatives that come with him. I'm okay with them. I really am. I'm okay with the negatives of we're going to be a little bit too aggressive. I'm fine with that. I really am. Because here's the thing. Ole Miss had 2 drives end on downs, right? Yeah, 2 drives end on downs. If those had converted, even if the like the last time he went for it, I don't think analytics told him to go for it there. I really don't. I had to okay. So yeah, like those 2 times that Ole Miss went for it and didn't convert. I don't know. If they convert and they score, I think that the same fans who are critiquing him would be celebrating him, right? And the thing that makes it really tough to judge with certain aspects of football is that your decision making in football is usually process based, right? Which I know people are going to go, "Oh, nerd, don't care." It is what it is, right? Decision making in football usually process based, but you're judged based off the results, which makes it very difficult. But like you could say, hey, the first 4th down, going for it, absolutely the right call. Second 4th down, I don't think analytics told him to go for it, but I do understand saying, hey, if we get a touchdown, we put it away right here. And I think a lot of fans, if they convert on that 4th down and they score that touchdown, I think a lot of the same fans critiquing him would go, oh yeah, like Lane put it on the line, Lane let him hang and Lane did it. Like I think everybody would be celebrating Lane Kiffin, right? So I refuse to just let my opinion go based off of that. I refuse to let my opinion change off of one game. This could have been the worst coach game of Lane Kiffin's life. I'm not changing my opinion based off one game. That's flawed process. I'm not doing it. I think that, yeah, Florida was kept in this game by Lane Kiffin's decision making, by Ole Miss's play. I thought Florida was kept in this game, yeah. But again, like that's what Lane Kiffin does. That's always the time when Lane Kiffin gets snake bitten by something, is usually he does something overly aggressive and it leads to that happening. Like that is what it is. I'm fine with that. Ridiculous, the refs screwed us. No, they don't. No, they didn't. I get it. That was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, a pass interference on Jaden Ball. Here's the thing. If the refs give you that pass interference, did that offense look like an offense that was about to drive downfield and score? I don't think it did. Based on the way that they had, what, two first downs in the entire second half, something like that? I don't. I'm sorry. I can't just say, oh, yeah, if that pass interference went differently than the rest of this game would have, because it wouldn't have. It would have. Look at the rest of that. But first off, I understand saying, hey, we've got the 2-minute timeout and everything. That run call on that same drive, because it went incompletion with the PI that wasn't called. Then they ran the ball with Jaden Ball. Then DJ Lagway got sacked for the first time all game. And then they had the deep shot to J. Michael Sturdivant that could have worked and almost did work, but didn't work. But that drive just sucked. I'm sorry. I get it. You got screwed on the PI. That still would have just given you, what, 1st and 10 from the 16, 17, whatever yard line you were on that gave you the penalty yardage. You still had to drive a lot to score there. And that offense didn't look like they were going to be able to do that because that offense hadn't shown they were capable of doing that there. The call was made, then reversed. Who knows what might have happened? Yeah, who knows what might have happened? Sure. But that's not what I asked you. What I asked you is, did that look like an offense that was going to drive and score? Because I don't think it did. Also, I know I've made the joke about Ryan O'Hara listening to this show before. I don't think it's true, right? Like I will say this publicly. Like I don't think it's true that Ryan O'Hara listens to this show. And I feel confident in that because if Ryan O'Hara did listen to this show, he would not run on 2nd and 10 as often as he does. That is a coward call that you are going to basically punt on that point, like on that drive. Stop running the football on 2nd and 10. Stop doing it. If you're in a 2nd and 10, throw the damn ball. That irritates me more than when you see a 3rd and 12 run. That's my 3rd and 12 run, a 2nd and 10 run. Why? Like I'm having a meltdown here. Why? Like what are we doing here? 2nd and 10 runs, awful. I will say, loved the DJ Lagway run game. I think that, and we've spoken about this a lot before. When DJ Lagway, Dave, because your mother loves me. I will say that much. So I'll let you know that she's obsessed. But I think that DJ Lagway is fine as a downhill runner, right? When you try to get him going sideline to sideline, the sweeps, that stuff is never going to work. It's not. He's not agile enough to do it. Can't happen. But let him run straight. That'll work. We saw QB power. Like that one drive where they came out and they scored their first touchdown drive where they were running the football with DJ Lagway. We saw that power run game. You want a DJ benched? Yeah, I'd still gladly bench him. I don't care. He didn't play great. He played great compared to what we saw all season, which was dog water. I don't care. Like, yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be, a big gotcha moment. I don't care. He's been awful this season. Terrible. Congratulations. You have 2 good games out of 10 games played. Whoop-de-doo. Build the statue. Put him right next to Tebow. I don't give a damn. Excuses. Just own it. Ole Miss is a better team. Ole Miss is a better team. They're not a better program. And you need to be drug tested if you think they are. Also, I don't know what you mean excuses. I'm telling you that Ole Miss, Ole Miss should have won by more. If anything, I'm saying that Ole Miss was downplaying things because Ole Miss should have won by a lot more. Mizell was actually open before that. Yeah, sure. Brandon, you're a GOAT, but you know our best bet is Lane accepting this job privately while going into the playoffs. Okay, let me say this. Going into the playoffs, I don't think there's anything private. Yeah, I don't think there's anything private. I'll say that. You got to realize that if they call the PI, the Gators aren't in the end zone. That gives us a little bit more breathing room. Okay, let's talk about this, right? Because why not, right? So you care about Florida not being in the end zone, right? Okay. So since we're talking about plays where Florida wasn't in the end zone in the second half specifically, because that's when this happened and that's when the offense went cold. When Florida wasn't in their own end zone, they had a 1-yard rush, they had a 3-yard pass, a 4-yard rush. Okay? That's what they had. That's it. So you got that. You got a 1-yard rush, a 3-yard pass, and a 4-yard rush on a drive. You have not backed up against your own end zone, a 5-yard rush, an incompletion, and an incompletion. Okay? You have a 1-yard rush, a 12-yard rush, a 2-yard rush, 1-yard completion, 13-yard completion, 8-yard rush, 1-yard rush, 2-yard rush, 3-yard rush, 2-yard completion, interception. Okay? Then the rest you're backed up against your own end zone. And then you have an incompletion, and a 7-yard pass, and then you lost a yard on the pass. That sound like an offense that's driving downfield just because they're not backed up against their own end zone? Just curious. Does that sound like an offense that's going to drive downfield with all the pressure in the world on them? Because I don't think so. Because I watched that offense play. And let me tell you, that offense wasn't driving the 85 yards needed. Did they have 85 yards in the second half at all? That's a genuine question. Because I don't think they did. Actually, they probably did because they had a 38-yard completion. And so they probably took a bunch of it there. But remember, the 38-yard completion doesn't count because you care about they were backed up against their own end zone. And that's where they had the 38-yard completion. But it doesn't count because you care about that. Like, I'm just saying, I don't care if they were backed up against their own end zone. I don't care about a missed pass interference. I don't care about any of that. Like, this team didn't play good enough to win this football game. And it's as simple as that. This team played a great first half. You did. You had 24 points in the first half. Unfortunately, you didn't even get close to scoring again in the second half. Like, I don't know what you want from them, right? I don't know what you want from them. Sir Art said y'all played your best game against us and still couldn't win. No, they didn't. They played their best first half. The best game is still Texas. But this was, I don't know what anybody was expecting, right? Like, even I said, hey, I'm picking Florida to win, not because Florida's better, but because it's fun, right? There are over 7,100 languages, and Brandon's speaking facts. That's all I ever speak, man. I'm sorry. I speak facts and I speak hater. That's it. But those are often intertwined. Look, this is a Florida team that's simply not good enough right now. And I do think that a lot of it still comes down to coaching. I think a lot of it still comes down to position coaching as well. Like, I mean, go back to the offseason. Go back to January before the new coaching contracts got signed. I went through this staff like position by position, and I was like, get a new guy here, 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 and they didn't. And like this is the result of that. I said, get a new right tackle. You didn't do that. Your right tackle spot's been suffering all season. Say, get a new safety. Didn't do that. Sam Reeves, you said this team would make the playoffs. That's not a fact. I said this team would make the playoffs if coaching catches up to the talent. My whole thing all offseason was this is a playoff caliber roster, but it's up to coaching to catch up to the talent. Coaching did not catch up to the talent. In fact, I even said I think the gap now is even larger between coaching and talent. That's it. Jordan Chambers, I have one issue with what you just said. Where you said the issue is they didn't get rid of Strickland, LMAO. It's spelled Stricklin, and I want you to spell it right because if he ever searches up his name, or if anyone ever searches up his name, I want them to actually find it. I don't want it to be searched under Scott Strickland. I want people to search Scott Strickland and see what a loser he is. UFD played hard on those two drives. Seeing your QB throw an INT changed the game and ended it. I disagree because, first off, the drive before the interception was an 86-yard touchdown drive by Ole Miss. But also, I think that the more important part of that was that Ole Miss running the football was having success all game. Florida's offense, when they went cold, made Florida's defense even more susceptible, right? Because to start the second half, Ole Miss went 15 plays, 73 yards, which, by the way, is now back-to-back games where the opposing team started the second half with the ball and took over 7 minutes off the clock. So I would say that. So Ole Miss went 15 plays, 73 yards, 7 minutes. 15 plays is a lot of plays to be on the field, right? And there are some guys who were out there for 10, 12. There's probably someone who's out there for 15. Then you went 3 and out. You had the big 38-yard gain and then 3 plays and a punt. then Ole Miss punts, and then you punt, and then Ole Miss comes right back on the field. Defense is on the field for too long, and that's what we saw, right? The first half, the offense was driving, defense got a little bit of a break, not a long break, but got a little bit of a break, and then got to come back onto the field. That never happened in the second half. It was always offense comes onto the field, defense comes onto the field. Like it was like clockwork just there. And we spent since week 2, we've talked about this, where if your offense doesn't start doing a better job of giving your defense even an opportunity, you're going to get destroyed. And at a certain point, that dam is going to break. And against Kentucky, we saw that dam break really early on. And against Ole Miss, we saw that dam break in the second half. Like there's no other way to put it. Like this defense can only fight for so long. And I'm not saying that to give them an excuse because they weren't playing awesome in the beginning. Like again, I think that a bigger determining factor in why this game was so close for so long was that Ole Miss kept trying to throw the football. And when they tried to throw the football, things were not going their favor. But once they ran the ball, they were destroying. Kevon Lacey averaged 7 yards a carry. The offense averaged 5 yards per carry, including sacks. Like, including the times that Trinidad Chambliss got sacked, which he took a couple pretty big ones there. Including those, they averaged 5 yards per carry. That's a lot. Like, I don't know how else to put it for you. That's a lot. That's really bad. They got torched on the ground. The reason that it didn't feel like that, or it didn't feel as much like that, is because Ole Miss kept trying to throw the football. Because that's what Lane likes to do. Like that, Lane loves doing that. And so I think that's a more notable thing. I will also say there were a couple of play calls that just confused me. An end around with J. Michael Sturdivant would not be in my playbook if I was a play caller. I will say that. I would just let him run straight, let him do that. End arounds, not so much. But look, we will say, and we can honestly say that the Florida offense was more explosive tonight than I think we've seen all season, right? 6 explosive plays for this offense. Ole Miss only had 7. You really didn't get like the explosive play battle. They didn't really kill you there. Like that was I will say like again, bad loss. Not in the sense of like it's not a quality loss, of course. It's a quality loss. But this was offense could have been better, defense could have been better, sure. Offense still showed at least some promise. Like that's it. This is a team that this is what they are, right? For everybody that thought this was a playoff team, wrong, right? Wrong. I still think this is a very quality roster. Had DJ Lagway not taken the steps back that nobody thought, this is different. Like if DJ Lagway plays average football this entire season, we're already bowl eligible. We're talking about that. TJ was the best receiver out there tonight. Yeah, TJ Abrams balled. Had a hell of a game. I'm not going to take that from him. I thought he played a great game. Especially, again, considering how many people or how many times we heard someone go, he shouldn't be here. That's it. That was Florida's defense that stopped Ole Miss, stopped the cap. I don't know. You can't be talking about me. Like I said, like if Ole Miss stuck with the run, they were going to gash, but they chose to throw the football, and Florida destroyed when Ole Miss kept dropping back. Florida was doing a great job. But once they started running the football there, and they had a few explosives in the passing game too, it was just dang. I don't know who that. Yeah, I didn't say that DJ cost you this game. I don't think he did, really. Like, I think this was just simply put a team loss. I don't think you could blame this on any individual player. it just is what it is, right? Like, this isn't a good enough team to win all those games. That is what it is. Frustrating game all around, right? I don't think anybody's happy about it. But hey, brighter days ahead. You can't get worse than what we've seen this year, right? So brighter days ahead. Be really happy when those brighter days come. You got 2 more games this year. I'm not going to say that they're not winnable. I'll say that. I'm not going to say they're not winnable. But yeah, we'll see. Could go 3-9. Could go 5-7. Bowl eligibility is out the window for the Florida Gators. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free with us in the podcast and on YouTube. We'll be back Monday at the absolute latest for Locked On Gators. I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI and swampsignal.substack.com. And don't forget, Saturdays are for fueling, but you go to sleep tonight, you wake up, and you throw that crap out the window. It's a new day. You move on. Whether it's good or bad, you enjoy Saturday, you feel on Saturday, and then you moved on. And I will see you all next time.